Hello mga ka-Crown and welcome back to our YouTube channel, The Crown Philippines. This is Christian at tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang ating coverage for this year's pageant season. And of course, before anything else, would like to give a big shout out to our more than 500,000 followers on Facebook. We're on the road to 500,000 followers on Instagram. We're also on the road to 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. Kaya sa mga hindi pa po nakakapag-subscribe, just click on the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you can be updated with our recent news, reviews, and pageant coverage, and you can be part of our growing Crown Nation. And of course, for more updates, you can visit our official website. It's www.thecrown.com. And of course, before anything else, we also would like to thank our sponsors here on The Crown Philippines. Tasa Mobile Cafe, your go-to coffee experience for events and celebrations. Just contact them on Facebook and Instagram. And of course, Prism Skin and Body Clinic. Plan your aesthetic treatment now. Thank you, Prism and Tasa Mobile Cafe. Mga ka-Crown, tonight we are honored to welcome a woman who has captivated South Africa and the world with her grace, intelligence, and purpose. She is a true ambassador of beauty with a purpose, using her platform to inspire change and uplift communities. Crowned as Miss World South Africa 2024, she embodies strength, elegance, and a heart dedicated to making a difference. Please welcome the phenomenal Zoalize Van Rensburg.
Oh, hello, Christian. How are
Hi.
you? Oh, that introduction made me smile. Thank you so much for your kind words. It means a lot to me. I'm incredibly privileged and blessed to be here today. So thank you for your time.
Welcome to the Crown Philippines, Zoalize. How do you want us to call you?
Can I tell you, Christian, I have quite a tough name. So it's Zoalize for anyone who wants the correct pronunciation. But I'm happy to go with Zo. It's always been my nickname as a kid. So let's stick with that.
Yeah. All right. So, mabuhay and welcome here on the Crown Philippines. Okay. So, first of all, of course, would like to congratulate you on winning Miss World South Africa. What was the first thought that crossed your mind when you heard your name announced? Take us back to that winning moment.
You know, it always brings me an immense amount of joy when I can reflect back on that moment. When my name was called, everything went silent. There was not a moment of, the audience. There was my wonderful, runner up was standing with me in the top two. I didn't hear a single thing. It was dead silent. And it was just a moment of, it was a breath because I was so grateful to have had that moment become a reality. But I knew that the work started in that moment. So, as much as there was a lot of gratitude and appreciation dancing within me, I knew that that was the moment that the work truly started. So it was a moment of celebration, it was a moment of responsibility, and it was also an understanding that the work will now be commenced, and the responsibility was going to not be on a personal scale anymore, but on a national scale. And that responsibility was something that I was prepared and willing to take on. So it was all of those mixed emotions that made for that reaction. Sometimes I look back at it and I think, what was I even thinking in that moment? But that's truly how I felt within my heart. It was an immense amount of gratitude.
Time flies so fast, and now you're bound to India.
It's crazy to think about, but I'm so incredibly blessed and honored that the time has come and that I'm able to represent my nation.
But before that, Zoe, can you share a behind the scenes moment from the competition that left a lasting impression on you?
Yes, there's so many that I can actually think about. It's quite tough to just pinpoint one. But I would say the moments that actually left a lasting impression on me was the moment I went back to my hotel room after, I was successful in bringing back the crown. I felt such a moment of peace and almost contentment because I knew that everything that I've worked so hard towards has now, been successful. And now that I'm at this national level, my team and I need to gear up getting ready for the Miss World Festival. So that was a moment that really had a lasting impression on me, just because that was the true time that I had to recoup and understand that this actually happened and this is my reality. So being alone in those few minutes meant a lot to me during the whole journey. There were so many impactful moments, but that one I remember so clearly because of how much I was able to embrace the reality. I was able to, make peace with what was happening. And that was such a beautiful moment in my heart and in my mind, because now I was excited for the work that was about to begin. It was media week. So it was all of these wonderful emotions that just put me at ease. And I just had a this is real moment. So that was one that had a great impression on me.
Such a wonderful experience. And of course, we all know that pageants are not just about beauty, but they also require intelligence, confidence, and perseverance. How do you balance all of these aspects in your life?
Yes. Balance is such a interesting concept to me because all of my life that I've been here, I've always been trying to figure out what the true recipe is to balance and how can I ensure I follow the correct structure. But I've come to realize that there is no secret, there is no recipe to balance. It's truly about prioritizing. So, although this industry requires all of these aspects and there's so many facets to competition, I've come to understand that the most important thing I need to balance and prioritize is my mindset. Because if I have a mindset that is able to tackle and combat any hurdle or celebrate any success when it comes to those three things you just mentioned, I know that I'm mentally strong enough to, champion and go after those things. Because as you mentioned, it is a lot at one time to prioritize and focus on, but the core of it all is truly yourself. So when you nurture your mindset, you protect it and ensure that you prioritize what is important, there will be no feelings of, oh, I'm overwhelmed, or I'm burnt out or exhausted, because you've allocated your energy and time to the correct aspects at the correct time. So that would be my response to that.
And of course, speaking of, winning or overcoming hurdles in the pageant journey, of course, we all know that pageants often empower women. How has this journey shaped you as a person?
Oh, wow. It's been transformative in so many ways. When I entered the space, the entertainment space, I was so young. And when I was met with the Miss World system, I was just as young. So it was such a fundamental part of my life because at the age that I was. So the lessons that I learned was incredibly transformative because the caliber of women I was competing with and, going after common causes, I really learned a lot from them, their wisdom, their advice, and their guidance, because I was still in high school, I was graduating, and they imparted so much valuable advice and lessons within me that taught me a lot about the world and, how it can be tough, but it's also important to be present in moments. And that's one big lesson that this whole journey has taught me is to be present in moments that tend to go by so quickly. Like you mentioned in the start of this, time has flown by incredibly fast. And sometimes I just need to sit down and remember that you only have this opportunity once, you only have this reign for 12 months. So it is important to prioritize every event, prioritize every appearance, prioritize every community project, because those moments can go by so quickly. So if you don't stay put and stay present within those moments, it's quite often that you miss the most important and valuable aspects of that situation. So that has really transformed my life. It's changed my perspective in so many ways. My outlook on life and how I view certain situations has changed tremendously. And I'm very grateful that it has, because it's been so progressive to me as an individual person. And I know that the lessons I've learned, I'll be able to apply and take through my journey for the rest of my life.
Wow. All right. So, Zoe, we're interested to know about your family's reaction when they knew that you are competing
Oh,
for Miss
goodness.
World.
Yes. Well, I come from a very conservative country, so
Mhm.
my family was always very supportive of the things that I did because growing up, I was always in the entertainment space, as I mentioned. So oftentimes it was quite frowned upon that I wasn't following the traditional path of a child. I was always outspoken and I went to public speaking engagements, which was very strange for a lot of people. But my family always supported that. They always supported that I wanted to, go the unconventional route, experience everything that I possibly could. So the evening that I actually sat them down and I told them, I want to go back to Miss World. I want to go and, represent my country just because of what their morals and principles are and how much I align with it. And I had to explain to them, exactly what the system is, what it champions, and immediately they were supportive because they looked at who I was as an individual and they looked at the system and they could see a perfect match because of what Miss World champions and practices, and similarly to what I do, the alignment was just something I can't describe. So they were very excited for me. They were there to to provide their support and love and be pillars of strength during moments of uncertainty or doubt. So the reaction was quite positive. So I was very grateful for that. And they have been such amazing, support systems during all of this. They are so hands-on in everything that I do. And one thing that has really made me so happy and that has, filled my heart with gratitude is that I've been able to take my family along on every single event and every single opportunity and community project because I want them to experience what I am and to have them understand that this was not just for me, it's a collective win, not even just for my family, but for everyone, for all of my people. I want this opportunity to be, a beacon of hope for each and every single South African. And I will, continue to think forward with that mentality. And I'm grateful that I have people supporting me wholeheartedly.
Though South Africa has been doing very, very well in international beauty competitions, and South Africa has already secured the crown from Miss World. Does that put any pressure on you?
It's a very good question you ask because I get it quite a bit. And although there's no sense of pressure from, the outside world or even myself, I think the expectation is quite a privilege to live up to. Because if I look at the representatives we've had, each and every one of them has left something so important of the South African culture within the Miss World legacy. And to know that I get to carry all of those milestones with me as, a South African representative is a privilege. So when you speak about pressure, yes, it comes from a place of not wanting to let anyone down and not wanting to disappoint my nation. But it's a privilege because I know people are there to support me. My nation is there supporting my narrative, my story, whatever I'm doing, they're always there for me. And with that comes immense amount of gratitude and privilege that I owe back to them. So yes, sometimes it can be overwhelming to think that, it's been 11 years, but at the same time, it is something that fuels me in a way. So yes and no, it's quite a fine line.
And speaking of support, right now you've been topping the leaderboards in terms of the pre-arrival picks for Miss World. How do you feel about that?
Can I tell you, it is it is something I just can't quite describe the feeling of because when I open my Instagram page, I try and, comment and like on each and every single post because of how much it makes me happy to know that people are so passionate about this system and this industry and in a very positive way. I think that is such a wonderful way of highlighting various of our queens, supporting them and giving them wholehearted support. So it hasn't put a sense of pressure on me. It hasn't given me an ego boost. I never want to put myself on a pedestal. It's something I've always, prioritized. And with that being said, with those leaderboards, I think it gives me a great opportunity to become a friend of the world because the visibility that we get from that is wonderful. And I want to use those opportunities to interact with enthusiasts, to interact with the fans. So it offers a great sense of international connection, which I'm grateful for. And it's just been great having the visibility for my country, South Africa.
Wow, everyone's so excited. When are you flying to India?
Oh, well, I can't give you an official date as of yet, but hopefully a couple of days prior so that I get to experience the culture and the country. I'm a big traveler. I love seeing the world, and India has not been a country I've traveled to, and Telangana
Mm.
has been a province I haven't even experienced. So I would love to be there a few days beforehand to go out and just experience all the wonderful offerings. So maybe a day or two beforehand.
Wow. So earlier you mentioned about the legacy of the pageant, Miss World Legacy. It places great emphasis on beauty with a purpose. What is your advocacy and why is it so close to your heart?
Well, to answer the second part would be the reason why the Beauty with a Purpose segment and initiative is so close to my heart is because it's opened my eyes to so many possibilities. And when I speak of possibilities, it has taught me so much about the world and how purpose extends beyond oneself. That is something that I've learned, and it's something that I don't think I'll ever forget. Is to understand that when we advocate, when we, champion something, it's not for yourself, it's not for a specific community, but it's really for the world. And when you have the kindness to share with the people around you, you should. The light we have within ourselves, it should illuminate the paths of others as well. And through my Beauty with a Purpose project called Never Too Young to Advocate, I've been able to experience just that because it's a project that is aimed at youth development, development in the lives of young children, more specifically neglected and abandoned orphans all around my country. So I work a lot with orphanages in South Africa and safe havens. So our main goal is to instill a sense of safety, security, and purpose within their lives. And we do that by restoring their facilities, ensuring they have a safe place to call home, ensuring that they, you know, have someone to look up to and have someone to feel like family. And I work with a lot of our brand partners that champion similar causes, and with their support and love, we've been able to build up classrooms for the children to have a chance at a comfortable education. And it's just been wonderful to see them blossom and grow. And that's just in a nutshell what we do. We really try and facilitate the possibility of a quality future for our children because they are truly the leading generation of tomorrow. And I don't want any child who comes from a a feeling of abandonment or hopelessness or worthlessness. I don't want their circumstances to define the possibility of their future. So, if I'm able to go into those communities, be a sense of safety and security, that is just something that fills me with an immense amount of purpose. And I know that those fundamental qualities we instill in them today will give them the chance to lead with confidence and pride tomorrow. So, it's been a wonderful experience working with my partners, working with the children. They have really become like my family. It's not just a social project, they are truly like my family. And I hope in the coming years we are able to take this to a global scale because it doesn't go unrecognized that this is not just a problem in South Africa. This is a problem globally. We need to invest in our children. We need to mentor them. We need to ensure that the youth are really empowered and that they have the want to lead. They have the want to learn. They have the want to take hands with each other and, lead with kindness and good intentions within them and enable them to create a more sustainable future for us all. So that is what my Beauty with a Purpose project targets and addresses. And I'm grateful to have the Miss World platform that amplifies the work that I do and what Never Too Young to advocates for.
Beautiful, very well said, and very noble cause. Right
Thank
now, as early as now, I'd like to congratulate you.
thank
So
you.
of course, many children or the youth with this kind of advocacy look up to you. What message would you like to share with them about achieving their dreams?
Oh, well, a part of my advocacy is hosting empowerment workshops. So, one thing that I've always prioritized teaching the children is that if you have already thought of the dream, if you have already figured out what you want to do in life, 50% you're already there. Because all you have to do now is to follow your path and lead with confidence, do it authentically, and do it with good intention. Because my mom always taught me that, you were never no one is born without a purpose. Everyone has something valuable to offer to society. Everyone has something valuable to offer. So, irrespective of what you might believe your ultimate goal is, I promise you there is something valuable you have to contribute to society. So, with that mindset, it really rests me assured that I don't have a certain, responsibility or obligation to achieve the dream that I've set out for myself. All I have to do is wake up with a positive mindset, share the light and positivity I have within my heart, and ensure that I uplift others with me, because that's what I'm doing. I'm going after my dream, representing my country, and through that, I'm bringing and uplifting people alongside me as well. So that would be my piece of advice, is that irrespective of where you come from, what you've achieved, what your dream might be, never, irrespective of how big or small it is, someone like me was able to achieve my dream, an ordinary person. So that is enough for them to understand that they can do it too, because I'm always someone that likes to be relatable and draw it back to a personal story. I think it's always so beautiful when you can relate to something, when you can actually see a little bit of yourself within that person. And that's what I've tried and strive to be for these children. I want to be a beacon of light in their own story, for them to know that they can have these dreams and be as ambitious as possible, because when you have that sense of self determination and you have the power of self belief, anything is possible. So that would be my core messages of advice to them.
Such an inspiration. And also, speaking about the legacy of Miss World, it's really about the holistic um, presentation of beauty competitions. So aside from beauty with a purpose, the charities that it also focuses on, it also highlights the culture and tradition of each country that representing. So, what do you think is the most beautiful thing about South Africa that the world should know?
Hmm. That's such a lovely question, and I hope one day you can come and say hello here in South Africa. But it's a beautiful country that has so many stunning landscapes, and the people are wonderful. But one thing that South Africa has become quite synonymous with, and something I take great pride in as a South African, is the Ubuntu spirit. And what that really embodies is that sense of unity. It's that sense of kindness, resilience, love, and strength that we share with the world. I've always said that South African people are some of the most generous and kind people. We have a great sense of humor, and the Ubuntu spirit is something I want to represent and show the rest of the world. That part of our tradition and culture is something that shines brightly. It is very unique, and it is something that I draw great love and inspiration from. And when I am in moments of doubt, like I mentioned previously, I look at my nation and I feel the support. I feel the support of my causes. I feel the strength and unity. And through that, I'm able to go out into the world and celebrate our diversity and showcase the rest of, the world, what we really are, and the essence of the people, the brightness of our culture, and the vibrancy of our spirit. So the Ubuntu spirit would have to be what I would want to get across in my time as not only Miss World South Africa, but as an international representative.
Wow, we're so excited to see you to be part of the dances of the world.
Oh,
Something that we're
I
looking
can't
forward
wait.
to.
Oh, we're very excited. We have a couple of amazing things up our sleeve, and I'm very excited to showcase everything.
Wow. All right. So, what do you hope to learn from the other contestants at Miss World? Have you had or have you connected with other girls at this point or not yet?
I have. The digital realm is something that enables us quite a bit. So I've been able to connect with them via WhatsApp, on Instagram, and all of those great platforms. So I have had the opportunity, and I think one thing I hope to learn from each of the candidates is similarly to the question you just asked me, what makes their country unique? Because, like I mentioned, I'm quite the traveler, and I hope to be able to explore every part of the world someday. And now I have this wonderful opportunity where we can bring the world to one place in Telangana in India. And I want to utilize that opportunity to get to know a little bit of each and every single, country from the candidate themselves. I always say that what better way to learn from the country as from a local candidate or, person that comes from the country. So that's what I hope to learn. I hope to learn something new about each and every single country and their offerings. And now I have an international contact wherever I go, which is absolutely wonderful.
And of course, the Filipino fans are excited to know if you've connected also with Miss Philippines, our very own
Yes.
Krishna.
Oh, she's lovely. She's such a sweetheart, and I can't wait to meet her in person. I've watched her journey for some time, and now to have the opportunity to meet her is a privilege. I can't wait.
Wow, we're so excited to see photos of you and
Oh,
Krishna during the competition. Now,
thank
although all of these things have been really happening and are being promoted in Miss World, there's still, some areas of misconception about beauty pageants
you.
coming from others. What is it, or what is one misconception about beauty pageants that you wish to change?
Hmm. I don't want to highlight a specific misconception. I'll speak on it more, holistically. Um, and that is that people look at pageantry with a very conservative mindset. If I look at what it was various years ago, it was something that was not very empowering. It was not something that was necessarily stimulating in many people's perspective. And I think the discography of this industry has changed significantly, and people lack. Um, I think they lack research when it comes to understanding what the systems are, the different offerings that they have. Because I look at all the wonderful systems we have, and I'll use Miss World as a great example. What they champion is so different from, the pageants back in the day. It is something that empowers you, it is something that celebrates innovation, it celebrates creativity, and it celebrates international collaboration, which is essentially where we want to see the world moving into. So, to see it done on a global scale and having all these lovely participants come together in one place, advocating for common causes and some even advocating for different things, it's wonderful to see a platform and organization offer the podium to young women and young people wanting to make an impact and difference. So I think one aspect I would like to change or more so encourage people to do is really just to understand what we are doing here, to understand what the greater purpose is. Broaden your perspective, understand that we do things with, you know, progressive intention. At the end of the day, we all have a common cause of bettering our world, of ensuring we uplift our communities. And pageantry has offered such a beautiful way for us to do that. So I hope that people can really see that and experience it. I always say you'll never fully understand the impact of this once you have not experienced it yourself. So that's one aspect I would like to remind people of is before you make assumptions and before you, judge people for what they do, it's important to understand what the greater cause behind their doings are.
So it's been such a wonderful time speaking with you and, hearing your wonderful message to everyone. But before
Thank
we
you.
let you go, of course, we have one final question. What would it mean to you to bring home the Miss World crown again to South Africa?
Um, I always get such a smile to my face when I'm asked this because South Africa is in a period where a lot of people have lost hope, and essentially a lot of the world has become hopelessness. And I believe that the Miss World crown is more than just a symbol of achievement, it is really a symbol of possibility. And the reason I say possibility because it acts as a beacon of light in not only my community, but it is really something that has the ability to reinstill hope within the world. I want to use this platform as a progressive tool, and I want to use it as a vehicle for change to go into these communities and to connect them. Because at the end of the day, I want to become a friend of everyone in the world. I know that sounds ridiculous to say, but that is my ultimate purpose and goal as a global ambassador, is to be able to connect with people on a greater scale, to be able to call them more than a community. I want to be able to extend my family to a great level. I want to ensure we practice international collaboration and community, because when we do that, our understanding becomes greater, we have a better outlook on the world, and we can come to resolutions more quickly and more ethically. So I want to utilize this platform and opportunity to, you know, pledge to do that and continuously do that with or without this. So I look forward to see what the festival has to offer, what I will learn from it, but more importantly, how we can progress the betterment of our world and society through it. So it would mean a lot to me and my country. It would be such a moment of reinstilled hope.
There you have it, mga ka-Crown Miss World South Africa 2024, Zoalize Van Rensburg. And Zo, please invite and let us know where can we follow you on your socials and where else can we get updates about the competition.
Yes. Well, firstly, Christian, thank you so much for your time and having me today. It was an immense honor and privilege to speak with you, and I hope that again soon we'll be able to have another discussion. But for now, you can keep up to date with me on my Instagram page, which is Zoalize VR. And I want to encourage each and every one of you watching today to sign up for the Miss World app. We have recently been able to, showcase our journey and the milestones we've been able to achieve on the Miss World app. And I think it's a great platform for all of the viewers and listeners to go onto to keep up to date with not only my journey, but the rest of my delegates and, candidates' journey. So you can go and follow me at Aswalis as well, but more specifically under the Miss World South Africa form. And I recently did do a video on how to sign up, so be sure to go and check that out. And I can't wait to share every single aspect of my journey leading up to the 7th until the 31st of May. Time has flown by, and I can't believe it's right around the corner.
Thank you, Zuliz. And of course, on behalf of the rest of the Crown family, this is Christian, mga ka-Crown, telling you to cherish all of your crowning moments as we bring pageants straight into your homes, only here on the Crown Philippines. Thank you, Zo. Good
Thank you
luck. We'll
so
see you in the
much.
Miss World.
I really appreciate you. Thank you to everyone watching, and lots of love to you too. Chat soon, everyone.